By now, everyone probably knows about the Lord of the Rings, the One Ring, the Serialized Ring. That card that's just going for roughly $2 million. The Lorcana's marketing team has had to notice. I mean, who wouldn't? It's everywhere. They're getting so much press. What a way for them to launch Lorcana to add some serialized cards to that first set. So today we're going to look at what cards they could add. Okay, they don't have a one of one ring and they're not going to add Lord of the Rings, but they have something even more impressive. If you go through the cartoons, if you go through the movies, there's really not that many objects in Disney that really matter. But if you look at their theme parks, they do have some things that really matter. Let's take a look at the castles. First up, we have Cinderella's Castle, the Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom. It's an 8 cost, turns every card into play into a 1/1 pumpkin that gives 1 lore. Here they can serialize all 6 of the castles. They can make one of each card, and that will drop the press for Lorcana. Up next, we have the Cinderella Castle in Tokyo. This is the exact same. It's also a Cinderella Castle. Only difference is the artwork and the Tokyo location. Next up, we have Le Chateau De La Belle, and I don't speak French, but I think that was pretty close. So this one, exhausted cards don't unexhaust during your main phase. So they get tapped, they don't untap. It's 3 cost. It affects both players. And I thought it was interesting because this in French is Sleeping Beauty's Castle. So I thought that was accurate. Up next, we have the Castle of Magical Dreams in Hong Kong Disney. The artwork I think is fitting here. It's a 6 cost, and your cards cost 1 less ink to play. I just want to make one point here that these are all using the amethyst ink, and I think that these would be interesting as like an expansion type card that doesn't have an ink color because the inks really only limit what can be played in your deck. And if these cards were this powerful, I think they should be able to be played across all inks, and they'd be like a location, and they would be inkless, I guess. So I think that'd be the interesting way to do it. I just don't have the skills to remove the icons that way. Here we have the Enchanted Storybook Castle in Shanghai, the Disney Resort. It's a 10 cost, and you increase the lore for each character you have in play. The point of this one is you play this card, and it basically ends the game for you. I had to give it a high cost, but I think it'd be a cool card. Here we have Sleeping Beauty's Castle in Disneyland, California. Again, this is like the Chateau in Paris, where it's a 3 cost. Exhausted cards don't unexhaust during your main phase. This would favor cards like Moana that can untap other cards, so I don't know that they have enough in the game to make this a balanced thing, but I think lore wise, it makes sense that Sleeping Beauty's Castle won't let your exhausted cards wake back up. So those were the 6 castles, and I believe that if they made these as serialized cards, people would go just as crazy as they would for Magic the Gathering's One Ring. But what other places am I missing? What other things could they have done for serialized cards? Now that I'm thinking about it, the theme park rides would make amazing ones. You could have the Haunted Castle, the Twilight Zone, Epcot. You could have a lot of places that actually could fit in the Disney game as location type cards. So I think that the idea is cool, but who knows what Lorcana could actually do with this idea.